Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Manchester United podcast, Never Ignored. I'm joined again, as usual, by my co-host Imti.
Yo.
Imti, how's it going?
Yeah, all good. We're 2 wins again, so I'm happy. What about you?
Very happy indeed. Today, we're going to be giving our thoughts on Manchester United versus Bournemouth and the game against Villa, and then we'll do a bit of a preview of our games coming up against Southampton and Crystal Palace. So first things first. Manchester United versus Bournemouth last weekend, 5-2. Greenwood 2 goals. Imti, what are you thinking?
Yeah, bit of a rough start. Was it going one nil down? But it was encouraging because we even at 1-0 we didn't look like we were going to lose the game. No one panicked, and you know, back in even at the start of the season we would have struggled from that position. Um, but yeah, I think it was pretty good. What about you?
I completely agree. So yeah, when we go down 1-0, if we're talking about maybe pre-lockdown or last season, the heads drop. It becomes a difficult game for us. We're going to probably spend the next, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes of the game passing, trying to break down the opponent's defense. And it just looks like it's just not going to happen unless there's some kind of pinpoint ball or something like that happens. But this was the opposite. This was like old Manchester United. This was okay. You've scored, great. Now we're going to score some more, and the confidence was just remained there. So especially for someone like Greenwood as well, so young, unfazed. It was like it was like Bournemouth just hadn't scored. It hadn't even registered in that attacking and midfield mind. It's yeah, it was terrific to see the attitude of let's just continue, let's go forward, let's score goals, let's get back into the driving seat. Um, as soon as Bournemouth scored, I'm not going to lie, I'm so used to it now. I was just like, oh, for God's sake, here we go. This is going to be one of those games where Bournemouth pack all 11 or 10 outfield players, they're all back in their own half. And yeah, it's just going to be one of those games now. But yeah, we just literally spun the game back into, yeah, this is Manchester United. We're going to just carry on the way we've been in all of our games post lockdown. Really, really, really good to see.
Yeah, there's this quote from Fergie's biography, isn't it? Like the worst thing you could have done against his teams is score first, because that just awoke awoke the beast. But that's been gone for a long time. For the last 4 or 5 years, it kind of felt like if you got the first goal, that was it. The win was out of the question.
You're probably going to get a point
I know
where,
there was
yeah,
a few weeks under Mourinho where we were making a couple of comebacks, but it was never a consistent thing. And it used to be an early goal would just kill United completely. Um, but yeah, even when we started the second half a bit shakily, and they brought it back to 3-2. Yeah, they just go up the other end, extend the lead again, and that's it.
was,
Job done.
was that not one of the most
Um,
confusing starts to the second half you've ever seen? Because I
yeah, I didn't really know what was going on, and I'm still not really sure how they got to the decision of it being a penalty. Because I know VAR's supposed to be there for what, clear and obvious. To me, that was well. Firstly, I guess it wasn't clear that it hit his arm in the first place. It looked like his shoulder. So I'd say that's obviously wrong. And secondly, he clearly wasn't in the box. so so the handball thing was kind of redundant because he wasn't in the box anyway.
I've kind of got two
Um,
observations about VAR now in the last few weeks. And first of all, it's whatever the first initial decision the referee makes is heavily going to sway what the final outcome is. So, if,
yeah,
for example, the referee hadn't called that it was a penalty on by you, which he does in this game, I'm 99% sure VAR would have looked at that and said, "Yep, he's right. It's not a penalty." But he's called it, and now they've said, "Well, it's not clear and obvious," because what is clear and obvious? What do they need him to catch the ball with two hands to say, "Yep, that's clear and obvious." Um,
exactly.
so it is heavily. I think there's probably been some change of agenda in the refereeing world where they've said, look, if go with what the referee says, unless something completely
Unless
suggests the opposite, then don't go against it. And another observation I've made, and I don't know, I'd love to see some statistics on this. One thing I've noticed, when they do these in-game checks, where the ball
yeah,
continues to move and they do like this really quick 10-second in-game check and it's always no
yeah.
penalty. I swear to God, because the ball continues, then you never get it. If I was an outfield player now, I would just kick the ball out and be like, can you guys have a proper look?
Can you have a look at this?
Because I swear to
Yeah,
God, they do a very brief check and I still am yet to see the referee blow his whistle while the game's in play and say, it's a penalty, actually. Um,
It's
so
hard because they did that a few times earlier on in the season.
yeah,
And it's I don't know, it's annoying both ways because it's annoying when the play gets brought back for something that happened like 3 minutes ago or something,
yeah,
or however long it takes them to figure it out. But I don't know. I think that they need to start putting like a timer on it and just say if you can't figure it out within 30 seconds, move on.
yeah. I think just
Um,
some transparency because I have a suspicion that they're kind of obviously they're learning as they go and they're molding
yeah,
their approach. But just I don't know, some clear, straight bullet point list of exactly what is what. I think they've changed the handball rule as well now, haven't they?
I think it's changing at the end of the season. It's not. It's not yet.
Is it something
Um,
like shoulder downwards is a handball now?
yeah, something like that.
So even that's quite
Which
confusing because they're still part of the is it, I think it's armpit downwards, which is yeah, it's just
oh, that's it.
confusing.
So, sorry, something like that. Yeah, armpit downwards. I haven't 100% looked into it, but it doesn't come in till next season. So it would have been June, but obviously everything
Yeah,
got pushed back, so that it's still not going to happen until next season. Because there's already been enough rule changes to make this season feel like it shouldn't be
yeah.
valid, I think.
But
um,
in terms of the game, Martial's goal just on the
that
stroke
was
of
really
half
good.
time,
Yeah.
really good, really good. He's kind of scored a couple a good range of goals in the last few games where he's got those kind of 6 yard tap in type good running in at the last second type goals, and then also this
Yeah, and then
kind of
this was
far
more like a
range.
classic Martial. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of top corner. He's just picked it out. He's looked up and drifted in really well as well from the wing to score this goal because he was more or less on the byline when he got the ball.
And it's a
Uh,
good time to score as well because what then means we go in at what was it in the we're going at 3-1 at that point then, isn't it? Ish.
yeah, what did you think of the Stanislas goal from where he scored and what he's done to Maguire along the way?
Um, yeah, Maguire got done, but yeah, happens. I thought people again were a little bit over the top on De Gea. I mean, yeah, fair enough, he got beat on his near post, but the guy was like 2 yards out.
I
So
think it was just a smart finish. Like
yeah,
Stanislas, he's got two options there: either try and squeeze it in at near post or pick it across the box. And obviously, De
yeah.
Gea's gambled.
When you're that close, I mean,
Yeah,
but yeah, what can you do? They conceded, but like I said, there's the response that was the good thing for me. It was they didn't take it, they didn't think about it too much. They just carried on, just played their game.
what did you
Uh,
make of post game Solskjaer's little comment towards Nathan Ake?
yeah, so I've heard a few things about it. Apparently, some people are saying it might not be what what it sounded like, but I mean, yeah. So for if you haven't heard it, it does sound like he says keep going. We need a left-footed centre back, um, which I guess maybe Bournemouth could accuse him of trying to tap him up. I don't know, but um, yeah, I mean, we said it before. We'd like another centre back as either a depth option or someone to push Lindelof. Um, I wouldn't say no to him. He's got Premier League experience. He seems like a solid enough defender, and yeah, he is left-footed, which is a bonus to have someone play on that side.
I,
I don't know how quick he is. I think we need someone quite pacey. I haven't watched enough of him really to know what if he's a
Something
quick
I love
player.
about this post lockdown Premier League return is the fact that we now can hear what the players say to each other a lot more
Yeah, I
clearly.
mean, I watch it without the crowd noise if I get the option, and it's good. The commentators obviously have to apologise for any bad language a lot more than they
Yeah, that's a
than they
frequent.
used to, but it's interesting. It gives you a different element to what's going on, and I
I,
like. I don't usually praise BT, but they've done a good job with making some clips afterwards with like the best sounds from the players, so like the Ramsdale moment and stuff like that.
yeah, no, it's very
I really
interesting.
enjoyed the Greenwood bit where they're saying, "Don't let him turn, don't let him turn." And it just seems, yeah, with Greenwood, it doesn't matter if you let him turn or not because he can he can shoot on either. He's got a good foot on
It,
each.
it just doesn't matter because as a defender, typically you're told, show him onto his weaker foot, and when your weak foot is that good, then what do? You just try and get the ball in the air so you can't use either
Yeah, I
foot.
mean, we'll get onto it like that. We'll get onto it with the Villa game, but that goal he scored there, um, I can't believe that that's someone's weak foot.
Yeah, someone
Like,
so young
that's,
as well that hasn't had
yeah,
that,
it's just
years
ridiculous. It's just
of playing
ridiculous.
with it. Yeah, even the Ramsdale clip actually was quite quite insightful because you usually see keepers losing their head at their defensive line, but you can't hear what they're saying. And
Yeah,
to hear what he was saying in that instance, it was quite amusing that
yeah.
obviously
I'd
defenders.
like to know who it was that he lost his temper with, but
yeah, it was quite interesting to yeah. I think he's probably got a comment from one of his defenders that he hasn't done good
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, it was fairly amusing. And to be fair to the keeper as well, actually overall, he kept that game at 5. It could have
yeah,
been a lot worse. He did make quite
definitely.
a few good saves.
Yeah, and then I guess eventually Bruno got his goal like he always does. I don't know if did you see that clip from of the Leicester changing room after the game?
Yeah, was it in Iheanacho? Yeah,
Indeed, and Iheanacho were talking about the game, and Iheanacho says he's reading out the scorers, and he says, "Oh, Bruno scored, but like, Bruno always scores."
it's gone to the stage where it's inevitable every game.
Yeah, he's in the head of all the opposition already. That they just know he's gonna do something. And I think now after the Villa game, he's got 13 goal contributions in his first 10 games, which is a Premier League record. Um, I think it's split across goals and assists, but yeah, I mean it just shows that he's involved in everything, and he's got back-to-back Player of the Months as well, which no United player has done since Ronaldo in 2006, which is
So,
pretty ridiculous considering Ronaldo's season he had in '07. But but yeah, um, he's been good. Not really much else to say about him.
something
He's been unbelievable.
I want to touch on as we have a little chat about the Villa game
Yeah,
actually is the dynamic between him and Pogba, and more so the effect that it's had on Pogba's game. But let's come to it. We'll talk about Pogba's goal. So the game
yeah.
against Villa, which was it last
That
night?
was last night.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just losing all track of time. Um, Yeah, the game against Villa, 3-0 is our fifth game back, and I think we've scored 15 goals. We're averaging 3 goals a game. We're
Yeah,
arguably
and we broke a record as well, right? First team to win 4 games in a row by more than three goals or
yes,
more
yeah,
in
and
the Premier League.
yeah, nice little record. I
But
think we've,
considering this in the middle of the start in the middle of the season, we couldn't score a goal for the life of us. It's changed. It's changed a lot, right?
to have scored
Um,
that many goals over this time. We're being described now in some of the post game articles and stuff I was reading as the hottest team in town, the best team to watch at the moment in the league, which is quite an achievement when you consider City are there, and arguably a couple of seasons ago Liverpool playing some really good football. Um,
yeah, I mean, I was saying to you before pre-match. Sorry, they were saying that the form team in the Premier League was going to be playing, and then I know we've been playing well, but I was thinking, oh, Villa playing that well, because it's just been so long since I've heard other people describe us as a good team, and especially when you talk about
it has
one of the
been
best in the country. But
it has been such a long time. So speaking of the game, Bruno scores the penalty early on. What did you think of the decision?
I don't know what everyone's moaning about really. Um, you know, he's gone for he knows what he's doing. He's invited the contact, but the contact's been, but he's taken the invitation. He's gone cleaned him out.
I think
Um,
Bruno's been he knows he knows what he's doing. He's been very smart about it, which is credit to him. He's a very nimble,
the
agile
only question I
midfielder.
had initially was it in the area, and I think it quite clearly was. So
Yeah.
no complaints from if I was the defender.
What
Um,
I think is what why the defender probably feels like he's made a big mistake there. He's dived in on Bruno in the box. Obviously he's thought he's going to get the ball. Bruno's just incredibly quickly pirouetted on the spot and made it so that the defender has to go through him to get the
That's
ball.
it. He's put himself in between the ball and the
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
So the only way the defender was going to get there was going through him.
And it's very smartly one penalty, very well taken pen as well. Because earlier on in the season, we had all these penalty balls where Pogba was missing and Rashford, and
Yeah.
you didn't know, who should be on pens. But
With Bruno, it doesn't matter. You just know he's gonna bury it.
yeah, he's just ice cold, and the composure is just phenomenal. I saw on online a lot of non-United fans were how many penalties have Manchester United got this season, and all that kind of stuff. It feels like it's been so long since since we've had that complaint
Since
against us.
everyone's moaning about us, yeah.
Yeah, that I enjoyed it. I read it and I thought this is the United I remember supporting.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah. I guess it's just what people do when things are going well for United. Um, but yeah, then Greenwood again. Um, just a ridiculous finish for, again, like we're saying, we call it his weak foot, but he doesn't have a weak foot really.
He just doesn't. He just has. He
Um,
just has. I don't even know what to describe. He has two strong feet. That's what he has. He's absolutely
yeah,
phenomenal. He's a kid. He's 18 years old. He's not even playing in strike. He's playing on the wing or the right of midfield, and he's
yeah.
contributing goal after goal. Uh,
And the way he's gliding past players at the moment, it's like, I mean, this is a bit of a bold comparison to make, but he runs when he runs with the ball, he looks like Messi.
on, on
The way he just glides past players is just ridiculous.
for me, he's one of those players where typically you get these players that are known to be fast, like Dan James and Theo Walcott, etc., Aaron Lennon. He's not known to be fast, but he just effortlessly glides past these people. Like he's in so much control of the ball and his movement that yeah, it's just it's amazing to watch, and I think it's lethal because he's coming off that right wing. He mixes it up every game. Sometimes he'll try and cut in and go for that far post, or sometimes he'll just say no, I'll just hit it with my right and put it in the
Yeah,
bottom right
that's the thing.
corner.
It just doesn't matter, right? No matter what you do, if he gets a shot away, it's going to be a good effort.
Yeah, so back to what we are saying. Yeah, so
All good
Greenwood's
Greenwood.
won. Greenwood he's won the last two Man of the Match awards, which is phenomenal again. At this point, I think the standard of Bruno is just becoming normal. Yesterday, Gary Neville said as Bruno came off,
It was one of his worst games, right?
yeah,
And he got a goal and assist.
goal and assist as
Yeah.
Bruno went off and he collected his kind of bottle of milk. Have you noticed there's this bottle of kind of milky looking liquid that the United staff keep giving to players when they come off? God knows what's in that, but
I
keep
thought it
giving.
was just Bruno. I thought it was just Bruno that did that. I didn't realize the others were.
No, I noticed that. I think last game, I can't remember, someone else came off and they gave them the same bottle as well. So whatever's in it, keep it up, lads. Um, it's working. Um,
Yeah.
and then also,
Um,
so the assist, Bruno to Pogba, that
it
was a
was really
very,
just clever. Yeah.
a re-
It was a clever corner. Pogba was free. It was a good finish as well.
so
And his celebration, I've not seen him celebrate like that since the goal he scored in the World Cup final, um, which was almost 2 years ago now. He looked very very happy when that went in. Um,
speaking of Pogba, then I think this is my view on the whole thing. I think since Bruno's come in, and also Greenwood as well, he's risen, and Martial and Rashford as well. They've both become 20 goal strikers now in the same season, which
yeah,
we haven't had for a very long time. I think finally the focus has shifted away from Pogba because the focus was so crazily Pogba centric. I think
yeah,
finally now that focus has just shifted to the team in general, and now he can just continue. Like when he plays in the France team, he was in a team of superstars. When he played in the Juve team, he was in a team of superstars. Since he's been at United, he kind of was the main superstar, or he was made to be anyway. I think
Well,
finally
we,
now,
we mentioned it a few weeks ago. Like the team had been going backwards in terms of quality.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
so when you're Pogba, you want people to be bought at his level, not getting rid of those kind of players. And for a while, it just looked like we were getting rid of those kind of players, and we were sort of accepting being like a sixth, seventh place team. Which, when you're someone of Pogba's quality, obviously you're going to be unhappy about that. So the fact that the signings this season have taken us to a new level, and players like Bruno have come in, he's obviously now he can see a positive for going forward. Whereas before, I mean, I wouldn't have blamed him for leaving with pre Bruno because things were pretty grim. But but now things are looking up.
I think he's finally also probably got some clarity in his head in what his position is at United, because for ages it was kind of is he a cam, is he a CDM, is he a CM, like what's his role? But I think he
Yeah,
firmly
that's it.
fits.
But now as Bruno's the first choice, so it doesn't. There's the question's gone out the window.
Yeah, and I
There's
think it
one
just
role he
takes
has to
that
play
pressure off
for
his.
the team.
I think it just takes that pressure off his shoulders, and he knows his job now. He's win the ball back, play out good
Yeah,
passes, generate some attacks or some momentum in upper third of the pitch. But you don't necessarily have to be there stuck in, and then have to kind of track back if we lose it, or something like that. Bruno's got that license, I think, to take all those risks and try those first touch flicks and all that kind of stuff. And if we do lose the
yeah,
ball, we've got that wall of Matic and Pogba, and then obviously our back line behind them. Whereas before it was probably just whoever I see them was maybe Matic or McTominay, and it was quite difficult to prevent that from
yeah,
happening. So I'm really happy for him, and yeah, like you said, I think in that celebration, I think even he feels that relief that this is the Manchester United I joined. This is the Manchester United I signed for to be the the
Really
guys
what
that
he
are
wants.
winning.
And I don't know if did you catch his interview at the end as well?
I didn't know what happened in that.
So let me think. So they asked him quite a few questions, and basically the answers he gave, it kind of made me think he's thinking about sticking around, because they asked him about Greenwood, and he said he's obviously really enjoying playing with him and watching him, but he also said, you know, he's going to keep pushing him to be better, etc. This and that.
Yeah,
I mean, that to me, that doesn't sound like someone who wants to leave. And he also said, you know, we've not won anything yet this season. We didn't win the Premier League, etc. So we're not there yet. We need to keep pushing. And he said, you know, the goal is to win the Premier League, that kind of stuff. And I mean, that doesn't, again, like I said, that doesn't sound to me like someone who's not planning on being around for another couple of years.
but yeah, that sounds to me like someone who's very much involved in the project and he's sticking around.
Yeah, and he's bought into it, which is good. I mean, they did ask him directly, "Are you going to stay?" Which I didn't expect him to answer, and he kind of dodged it. But you know, if you're going to start contract negotiations, you're not going to come out and say, "Yeah, I'm staying," because that plays your hand already, right?
Yeah, no, makes sense. He's probably under some influence there from a certain Mino.
Yeah, but I mean, it's natural, right? You wouldn't
Yeah,
expect
it makes
someone,
sense. It makes
when
sense.
you're starting contract negotiations, if you come out straight away and say, "Yeah, I'm going to stay," then you
Yeah, I'm
played
gonna
your hand.
stay. And then United say, "Okay, here you go, 20K a week." He's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay. No, it all makes sense. It's all part of the fun and games of the world
Yeah,
of football. Terrific. So, Manchester United versus Southampton is our next game on Monday. It's an evening kickoff. Southampton are in the last.
playing okay actually. I mean, they beat
Yeah,
City last week.
yeah. So they
Jay
beat
Adams
City.
scored his first goal in 1,500 years.
Yeah, it was quite a good goal, but yeah, it was has been very long awaited goal. And then they played somebody on the weekend and nicked the draw. So they're on decent form. Danny Ings is obviously the man to look out for.
Yeah,
He's almost at the top, I think, of the goal scoring charts in the league. I think he's three off. Is it
he's not
Vardy at the
far
top?
off. Hard. Yeah,
Yeah, so which isn't bad if you consider that no disrespect to Southampton, the quality of the players around him is not exactly the same level that, for example, I don't know, even Vardy or Aubameyang or Salah, Mane, them kind of other guys out up there will be
yeah,
getting. So credit to him and fair play. He's obviously also had a very tough career. I think he had a hell of a lot of injury problems at
yeah.
Liverpool. But yeah, I think he'd probably be the man to watch. He's the kind of striker I think he sniffs danger. So I think the defense just has to be incredibly sharp. Maguire and Lindelof not making any sloppy mistakes. Um, I, I still get incredibly anxious when De Gea passes the ball out to either one of his centre backs in within the 6 yard box. It always feels like just
Yeah, I don't like it when it's in the 6 yard box.
I'm
I've
not a
never been a
fan.
fan of it.
I always feel like just
I'm more of an old school, get it
yeah.
out of the way.
I always
Uh,
feel like just like one little fraction of a mistake could literally lead
yeah,
to putting it on the plate for a striker. So yeah, I'm not incredibly comfortable with that. But I guess it's a new world of football. It's just the way that we play out from the back.
yeah, that's it. That's how they want keepers to play nowadays. But yeah, for me, I'm more of a just get rid.
Yeah,
I don't care about building from the back and this and that.
the further away is the safer we are.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Um, but yeah, where's the game? Is it at home or is it away?
It is at home, yeah. It's at Old Trafford. Our game against Palace on
Yeah, so I'm
Thursday is
pretty
away.
confident now that we're on that one. So I'd expect us to win that. Um, and same with Palace at the weekend. I mean, Palace, they basically got nothing to play for now, right? And Southampton as well. I think are probably safe. So
Yeah, I think they're both relatively safe teams. Unless something drastically goes wrong.
drastic happens, yeah.
But
So I'm confident that we can take 6 out of 6 from that.
I think with this momentum that we've got, as long as we don't pick up any injuries, which now I'm really, I'm dreading if that does occur, because it looks like we've got a very solid starting 11. I'm expecting a win there. Maybe Ings to get a goal, but yeah, overall I still expect to win. What do you think about United v Palace? We're expecting a win there as well, right?
Yeah, same. I mean, Palace, they've not done much since the restart. But equally, like I said, I just don't think they've got much to play for at the moment.
Yeah,
I think they'll be fine.
so Palace are
They're 14 points clear of the relegation zone.
They're an
So
interesting one because they gave Chelsea a very tough time, and they were quite unlucky actually, to be
yeah,
honest, to not come away with at least a point against Chelsea. They really did actually to stick some pressure onto Chelsea.
yeah,
Chelsea I'd probably say got away with one day. So it just depends, I guess, on what Palace turns up. They have had an
yeah. I
okay
mean,
season.
I was just looking at the table, and in fact, them and Southampton are actually safe already. So they've
So
and they're not anywhere near Europe either. So they literally got nothing, nothing, nothing to play for. I think that shows they've lost 4 games in a row now as well. So
I think Southampton, as a mark of respect, should allow us to beat them 9-0 so that we are then have the same
so we can catch up to Leicester's
level
goal
playing
difference.
ground as Leicester for
Yeah,
the
actually,
goal difference.
considering we're only 6 goals behind Leicester now, which considering they had that 9-0 win and how bad our goal difference has been previously,
Yes.
that's not a bad effort, and
You
it's much better than Chelsea's goal difference,
you
and
mentioned actually
that could play a part. I know we're looking ahead a bit now, but that final day of the season is going to be interesting. I think Wolves are a bit out of the Champions League race now. They're 6 points behind, but Wolves are playing Chelsea and we're playing Leicester.
it could
So I think
be.
no one's going to be out of it until the last day. Um, Even though Leicester have been playing pretty poorly, I don't think anyone's going to be out of it until the last day.
I imagine that last game is gonna, it will be, at least there'll be some drama behind it, and it will be.
Definitely.
I think it will determine the third and fourth spots potentially, especially with Chelsea also playing. It's going to be very exciting. It's almost like these things are scripted, right? Last game of the season is to Leicester. Um, it still baffles me that Leicester have been so firmly within the top four for such a long time.
You
Um,
know what? Before it was up until maybe like December, they were close to Liverpool, so that's why they're still hanging on.
yeah, they've had a complete meltdown, haven't they?
They had such a good start that you know they're bound to be hanging around, but yeah, they're not. They've just been so bad since maybe about a month before the lockdown, maybe even longer than that.
Yeah, I
Um,
think Vardy picked up an injury, and he's kind of their talisman when it comes to getting the goals. And yeah, I think that just
yeah, but he's
reflected.
back amongst them now, but he still doesn't look like he's fully back to his best.
We've had
So
the
I'm confident we can get at least one of the top 4 places by the end of the season.
we had the
Um,
draw for the Europa League come through earlier this morning. Um,
yeah, I've got to admit I've never heard of the Turkish team. So obviously I've heard of FC Copenhagen, but the Turkish team that we might face, never heard of them. I knew that in Istanbul you got Besiktas and Galatasaray, but I didn't know that I didn't know there was a third team as well.
I have a feeling that Demba Ba plays for that team that we're facing.
Really?
Um, for some reason, don't ask me why. You know, when you forget to turn the TV off after a BT Sport Premier League game was on,
Yeah.
ended up watching a bit of a
Oh, you're
Turkish
right.
league
Yeah.
game, and I'm
Okay,
confident Demba
I'm
Ba.
a bit more concerned now. He scored 13 goals for them this season.
Yeah, and I'm confident. I remember seeing Demba Ba up front for them, and I was just like, oh, that's where he is.
Yeah, he left China. Um, so he played for Besiktas on loan, then he went back to China, and then he joined in January last year. So
Okay,
not
well,
bad.
hopefully no slips in the midfield for Demba Ba to pounce upon.
Yeah. But I'd be fairly confident of beating them. We've got a tough potential semi-final draw. Obviously, again, looking ahead a bit, we could face either Wolves, Olympiacos, Sevilla, or Roma. You'd say that they would probably give us the sternest test from the Europa League this season. But again, on current form, I'll take on anyone really.
On current form, we take on Prime Barcelona, and it would be a
Yeah,
good
why
game,
not?
I imagine.
Go for them. Like I said, Greenwood, and Messi, no difference in my eyes. In fact, if Greenwood's got a better right foot, so
Greenwood's got more Premier League goals than Messi as well.
exactly, he's got more Premier League goals. He's probably got more Europa League goals as well.
Yeah.
I don't think Messi probably ever played in the, in the Europa League, so I think Greenwood's probably got a better record there as well. But yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves a bit. But yeah, I mean,
Just a bit.
you can tell from my general mood, everything's good at the moment. So
It's good to be a Manchester
hopefully,
United fan, isn't it?
long may it continue. So yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything for this week. But yeah, I think we'll probably do another Friday one next week again because we're playing on Thursday.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's where you'll see. That's when you'll next hear from us. In the meantime, if you want to leave us a review or anything, please do, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. But yeah, if not, we'll see you next week.
Cheers, everyone.